everybody, Ryan here with you again. Out here in Lebo, Kansas, I had a code pop up this morning. I got some DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, whatever you want to call it, up in Salina, Kansas, and about 10 miles before I stopped here, I had a code pop up on my PDI because it'd kind of give me real-time data, and I'll have a separate video out there on that shortly on that unit. After doing some research on the code, it came up with DEF quality issues. So I don't know if it was just a sporadic thing. I hope it's nothing serious. But I'm going to show you one of the tools that I have here that can save you a lot of money out here on the road and a lot of problems and get you out of some trouble pretty quick. I mean, even out of a D-rate or any of that type of stuff in a lot of cases. It is it's a Bosch HD200 is the handheld that I have. I think it's been replaced by the HD250 right now. They're about 500 bucks, and they're a pretty powerful tool, both on the, especially on the Cummins, because you can actually delete D-rates and codes and all that, active or inactive. And also, I had used it on my PACCAR MX-13 as well. It's pretty well read-only on the PACCARs because with that Davy software, that they're pretty proprietary and they're really hard to get into. I don't think there's anybody out there that's actually broken into those yet. I heard something about a guy in Texas or something, but I don't have a lot of info on that. But it will, like I said, with the PACCAR, it will give you the information. I know on my PACCAR, when I would change my oil and my fuel filters, it would come up with a engine fault because of low fuel pressure or low oil pressure than that initial startup, and I found you can't see what it is on the dash. So with this tool you can actually get in there and see, oh, that's what it is. And after the thing with those PACCARs, though, another one that I had, after so much time, if the problem's corrected, it kind of clears itself. So it's kind of a progressive system. Once you correct the issue, like I said, you can't delete it with this. But if you correct the issue, I mean, the case with my particular engine, I don't know what other ones out there might be doing, or what the newer stuff might be doing. This was 2016, but it would, if you corrected a problem, it would clear itself. I had the same issue with a NOx sensor. I placed it, and after like a day, it cleared itself the next day. But I'll go ahead and show you the tool here, and then I'm going to hook it up and see what we got going on here, and I'll show you a few other features with the tool. Okay, so this is basically what it looks like, just a little handheld. It's got like a serial plug here, and it has the green plug, the green 9-pin, so that'll work on the newer stuff and the older stuff. If you got the gray one, it won't work on the new one, so you can go old to new, or new to old, but not old to new. It comes with a few other adapters here. It's actually got an OBD2, so you could use this on your cars, at home as well. And I believe it has a 6-pin for some of the older stuff, or for heavy equipment and whatnot. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But I'm going to hook my PDI, and we'll go ahead and plug this in and get it started up here and see what we got going on. Okay, this plugs in right to your 9-pin connector down here. This is from my PDI tuner up there, so I have to unplug it when I plug this in. But once you find the right location, it just pushes up in there. So I've got it turned on here. Then once we get it plugged in, we'll actually have to turn the ignition on. Then with this particular engine, because you got a couple of choices here. It's like if you were gonna work on your car, you'd use the OBD2. But this is J1939, so we're going to open that. Yes, enter. It takes us a couple seconds to get into all the modules. Right now we have one code, and I already know what that is. This particular code is like a service code. I cleaned the DPF, and I actually need to get Insight and actually do the DPF install, because that's like a they put it's based on hours or by mileage. It'll throw this code. So whatever the dealer set it at, or whatever Cummins has in there as default setting, it might go off at 150,000 miles. So it's not an actual. It doesn't show a light up here on my engine, but it has the little engine with the wrench that's down here that it flashes like 5 or 6 times when I turn the key on, but it doesn't. So it's not like a hard an engine fault basically. But it won't delete this. So if we were going to erase codes, it'd do that. And like I said, if you have a D rate on this Cummins, this will reset a D rate. That PDI that I have up there, it won't erase it. It'll like inactivate a default, but like a couple hours later it'll turn it back on. So it won't. I don't know if it's something with their software or what, but this unit here will actually reset that D rate. Because sometimes up in Wyoming or the higher elevations, I'll get like an intermittent data problem with that intake. I'll get like low intake pressure, air intake pressure for some reason. At the same time it does that, then it'll throw a D rate. Then I can just go to delete them and it's good to go, because I know it's nothing. It's because of the atmospheric pressure up there, most likely. But that's how you erase codes with this. The other thing that I like about this is you can view all the data, real-time data basically. And this will show you pretty much what all your sensors are doing. So if you got something that's not that's throwing a code and you don't know what it is and nobody can figure it out, excuse me, you can actually kind of hone in and see if something doesn't seem right. We had my dad had a truck, had it up at Kenworth, up in it was up at Reen Kenworth in Minnesota. And I had some problems with the emissions. They replaced the DPF, and it was like $5,000 of stuff they did, and still didn't fix it. He ended up hooking that EGR temperature sensor and driving the truck home, and then I hooked it up to this, and I noticed that one of the EGT, the exhaust gas temperature sensors, it was like 40 degrees ambient outside, and we had a temperature sensor that was reading like -17, so automatically I knew something isn't right, because that's going to get as those temperatures heat up to 1,000 degrees almost. That difference is going to be exacerbated, and if these sensors aren't correct, it's not going to give it the right data, and it's not going to work right, and it's going to know that, and that's when it starts having problems. But see here, you can see like the SCR outlet temperature. Right now DPF pressure, we're not going to see anything on that. That's not running. You can see how kind of these are all kind of close to the same temperature. We're all around 76, 77, so that means they're all kind of within range. DPF intakes, so you can see all these sensors. So like if I had something that, if it's 75 degrees out here and I had something that was, reading 40, you got, if it's way below, I mean, it can be, the truck's still a little warm, so we'll have some that are a little bit warmer than others. It tells us the exhaust fluid percentage, square pound turbo, basically our pressure, that's at 1410. That's basically ambient atmospheric pressure, so we know that's good. So if we were sitting here not running and that thing was reading 20 or 5 here, that close to sea level, we know we'd have an issue with that sensor. And you got the turbo temperature, ECU temperature. So there's just a lot of really good data in here that a lot of techs, they don't look at this stuff. They just look at a code and say, oh, it must be this. If you go through the real-time data, you can see a lot of different stuff in here that can help you diagnose a problem. But I just wanted to show you all this. and I just deleted that code. I'm gonna start this thing up and try to do a regen on it and see what happens, see if it clears that out. But if you got the money and you're kind of savvy with this kind of stuff, I would highly recommend getting something. This one's been a good tool for me. I would highly recommend getting something, because like I said, for what this costs, some shops charge $350 just to hook up. So I mean, this, if you got a simple problem like just a D-rate, because a D-rate sucks. I mean, you're pulling heavy load, and it does. This thing won't pull its way out of a wet paper bag. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, I got guys passing me, you know, that shouldn't be passing me, and so just for that purpose, I mean, if I didn't have this, I'd have to pull into a dealer, crawl into a dealer basically to get that, you know, reset. And with this, I mean, so this thing's paid for itself several times over. I mean, it saved me thousands and a lot of time, you know, where I don't have to pull in and wait at a shop somewhere. So I said, if you got the $500 and you're pretty good with this type of stuff, I would highly recommend getting one. But yeah, so that's the Bosch HD200. Like I said, I think they've got an HD250 out now. So if you're looking for one, I'd look for the HD250. That's the newer model. They're basically the same. I think they threw in a couple adapters, different adapters with it. There might be some different software in it, but I think overall it looks basically the same. So I hope that helps you all out. Like I said, if you're good with this type of stuff, or if you got any questions, you can let me know. If you got any comments, put them on there. Got any questions, personal info type of stuff, our email address is actually on the about page on the channel. So if you like the videos, like us, subscribe and support us, and we appreciate it. See you later.